what? One more time.
We commence the proceedings with our signature segment, Say What, as we roll out some of the most wacky, astonishing, and damnable things uttered by politicians and the chattering class. Socialists in the Democratic Party, arise again. Bernie is back. The 78-year-old Democratic socialist who gave Hillary Clinton a scare with his grassroots campaign in 2016 says he's in again for 2020 and uses his official announcement video to, what else, promise free stuff and sound the alarm on climate change.
Real change never takes place from the top on down, but always from the bottom on up.
Bernie Sanders' healthcare for all idea is gaining steam.
Free tuition. Free college tuition. Free tuition champion, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders added, the greatest threat to national security is climate change.
The future of our planet is at stake.
Sounds much like the identical themes Bernie touted in 2016, and he was asked by John Dickerson of CBS, what will be different this time around?
We're going to win. We are going to also launch what I think is unprecedented in modern American history, and that is a grassroots movement, John, to lay the groundwork for transforming the economic and political life of this country.
That same basic socialist message is now being touted by at least a dozen other candidates for president, so Bernie has gone from feeling the burn to another face in the socialist crowd. Meanwhile, in typical swamp fashion, D.C. is all abuzz about the remarkable comments of Andrew McCabe, the disgraced former number 2 man at the FBI who lied under oath at least 4 times, but now seeks redemption through the usual means, a book explaining away his indictment-worthy behavior in trying to take down President Trump. He was asked a question by Anderson Cooper on CNN and gave an answer sure to boost his book sales among Trump haters.
Do you still believe the president could be a Russian asset?
I think it's possible. I think that's why we started our investigation, and I'm really anxious to see where Director Mueller concludes that.
So there is the position of the man who took over from the fired James Comey for 8 days in May as FBI director and was fired himself following an investigation by his own FBI, which concluded that McCabe, quote, made an unauthorized disclosure to the news media, i.e. a leak, and lacked candor, including under oath on multiple occasions, i.e. he lied under oath. McCabe has also admitted, incredibly, that there were discussions of trying to take Trump out through the 25th Amendment, which is designed to remove a president for incapacity. Hey, whatever it takes, McCabe has nothing to lose. Oh, and there's also the fact that McCabe's wife ran for the state Senate in Virginia in 2016 as a Democrat, of course. But even though the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Richard Burr, says his committee's 2-year investigation of Trump-Russia collusion revealed no collusion, the Democrats in the House are not about to quit investigating the whole collusion narrative. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said so on, where else? CNN.
You can see evidence in plain sight on the issue of collusion, pretty compelling evidence. Now, there's a difference between seeing evidence of collusion and being able to prove a criminal conspiracy beyond a reasonable doubt. When you look, for example, at the emails to set up the meeting in Trump Tower, it was offered to the Trump campaign, to the president's own son, dirt on Hillary Clinton as part of what was described as the Russian government's effort to help Donald Trump in the campaign. And the response from the campaign was, we would love to have the help.
So Schiff is using one meeting at Trump Tower where the promise of dirt on Trump's political opponent was never even delivered, and acting like Trump would be the first guy running for office to ever welcome dirt on his opponent. Folks, that is a way of life in the D.C. swamp. I'm sure Hillary rejected all the dirt presented to her about Donald Trump. Meanwhile, as the swampocracy continues to lecture us on how Trump is tearing down all the vital institutions of our government, the ultimate politician, the guy who spent every day of his adult life as a professional politician and who's making noises about running for president for a third time in 2020, Joe Biden, violated what used to be a sacred tradition in Washington that politics ends at the water's edge. Here is the 78-year-old former vice president speaking this week in Germany.
The America I see values basic human decency, not snatching children from their parents or turning our back on refugees at our border. Americans know that's not right. The American people understand, please, because it makes us embarrassing. The American people know overwhelmingly that that's not right. That's not who we are.
Channeling Obama. That's not who we are. Joe Biden going overseas and attacking his own president and, by extension, his own country. But it's not just the Democrats who've done everything in their power to kneecap the president. There remain those bitter, never-Trump Republicans who desperately sought and failed to find a so-called conservative alternative to Trump in 2016, but they're back at it again for 2020, with the guy who ran as the VP on the Libertarian presidential ticket in 2016, former Massachusetts Governor Bill Weld, who says he's seriously considering a run because he doesn't like Trump's personality.
I don't think he knows how to act. He thinks he has to humiliate whoever he's dealing with, or else he's half a man. The emergency declaration is just one example of that. Congress thought they had a deal. He says, "Oh, you think you have a deal? I'm going to show you a deal. I'm going to show you who's boss." It's just no way to run a railroad.
Is it your ultimate goal to weaken President Trump for the general election rather than beating him in a primary?
No, not rather than beating him, but it is part of my thinking to make sure that he doesn't repeat. We don't have 6 more years of the antics, frankly, that, for want of a better word, that we've seen the last 2 years.
Now, when Republicans consider whether Mr. Weld is a worthy alternative to President Trump, consider this statement from Weld in 2016.
Well, I'm here vouching for Mrs. Clinton, and I think it's high time somebody did. I've known her for 40 years. I worked with her. I know her well professionally. I know her well personally. I know her to be a person of high moral character, a reliable person, and an honest person.
Bill Weld considering a run against Trump in a GOP primary while vouching for Hillary. In Washington politics, truth really is stranger than fiction. And we'll be back with LibertyNation.com editor-in-chief Lisa K. Donner on those pesky pro-Trump white women.
Exhausted by all the fake news? On LibertyNation.com's YouTube channel, facts and fresh, bold analysis are what you get without the leftist spin. Subscribe today to the LibertyNation.com YouTube channel because
truth is making a comeback.